Before assembling the machine, please organize all parts. We have prepared all types of fasteners, and each step comes with a parts diagram for easy installation. Simply follow the steps below to quickly assemble the machine. Step 1. Connect the gantry frame and the rotating frame using hexagon socket flathead screws, flat washers, and spring washers, and secure with lock nuts. For the upper support connection, use hexagon socket flathead screws, flat washers, and spring washers to tighten. Connect the rotating frame and the seat frame assembly using hexagon socket flathead screws, flat washers, and spring washers, and secure with lock nuts. Step 2. Pass the wire rope disc welding assembly through the rotating frame. On the other end, insert the wire rope cam plate welding assembly and align the key with the keyway hole. Then connect the wire rope disc welding assembly and the wire rope cam plate welding assembly as one unit. Use hexagon socket flathead screws with large washers to secure the wire rope cam plate welding assembly. Pay attention to the orientation of the wire rope disc welding assembly. The center hole should face upwards, and the damping pad on the wire rope cam plate welding assembly should be flush against the rotating frame tube. Insert the foot swing tube welding assembly onto one end of the wire rope disc welding assembly and secure it with the bearing cover and hexagon socket flathead screws. Step 3. Using the appropriate hexagon wrench, loosen the set screws on the base plate assembly. Release the upper guide rod fixing sleeve from the gantry frame and remove the guide rod fixing sleeve and the counterweight block top plate assembly. Tilt both guide rods at an angle and load the counterweight blocks in descending order from largest to smallest. After installing all 19 counterweight blocks, insert the counterweight block upper plate. Then insert the pin assembly into the counterweight blocks. Reinstall the guide rod fixing sleeve and secure it in place, making sure the guide rod is held in place. Tighten the set screws on the base plate assembly. Loosen the right guard plate using the appropriate hexagon wrench. Then insert the wire rope assembly into the wire rope bolt. Install the rubber plug into the screw cap. Then screw the assembly. Lift the counterweight block into the wire rope bolt. Pass the assembly through the two upper pulleys on the gantry frame, then through the middle pulley of the gantry frame bent tube. Secure one end of the wire rope assembly into the cam plate slot. Lower the counterweight block, adjust the tension, and lock the two hexagon thin nuts. Reinstall the right guard plate back onto the gantry frame. Step 4. Insert the foot swing foam tube welding assembly into the foot swing tube. Then secure it with a hexagon socket flathead screw and large washer. Slide the foot swing foam tube welding assembly into the foam cylinder assembly and secure it with a compression washer and hexagon socket flathead screw. Attach the plastic outer guard ring. Step 5. Install the rear guard plate on the outer side of the gantry frame, securing it with 5 hexagon socket flathead screws. Install the front guard plate on the inner side of the gantry frame, securing it with 5 hexagon socket flathead screws. Install the water bottle holder on the vertical tube of the gantry frame using half counterhead hexagon socket screws with spring washers and flat washers. Step 6. Secure the seat cushion onto the seat frame assembly using 4 hexagon socket flathead screws, elastic washers, and flat washers. Remove the hexagon socket cylindrical head screws from the backrest frame. Pass them through the seat frame and pull the pin assembly outward. Finally secure with the hexagon socket cylindrical head screws. To lock in place, secure the lumbar cushion to the backrest frame assembly using the hexagon socket flat head screws and flat washers. Check and tighten all bolts. Monthly. Inspect and re-tighten all assembly bolts. Shake the product. If any wobbling occurs, adjust its position or foot pad height. Weekly. Inspect all rotating parts for smooth movement without unusual noises. Ensure the wire rope is taut and the counterweight blocks are not suspended when stationary. Inspect the functionality of the pin assembly and ensure it is tightened properly. Apply silicone oil to the slide rods and bearing rotating parts. Ensure all functions of the product are operational during normal use. Daily. Inspect stress-bearing parts, such as the wire rope, pulleys, and counterweight blocks for wear or damage, and check for any wire rope derailment. Inspect the product surface for issues, such as paint peeling, leather aging, softening, label peeling, or surface damage. Replace damaged parts promptly. Wipe the product surface with Pledge. Remove the rear guard plate and right guard plate. Pull out the counterweight pin. Then lift the counterweight head upwards, inserting the counterweight pin into the first few counterweight blocks. To make the counterweight head suspended, remove one end of the wire rope from the counterweight head and guide it through the pulleys. Take a new wire rope, insert one end into the counterweight rod, and guide the other end through the pulleys to the cam plate slot. Pull out the counterweight pin, replace the counterweight head, and insert the counterweight pin into any counterweight block. Reinstall the right guard plate and rear guard plate.